Okay, I'm here with Dina Pearlman-Ifil. For those who don't know you yet, could you please introduce yourself?
Sure. I am the only daughter of Alan R. Pearlman, and he was the founder of ARP-Instruments, ARP-Synthesizers. That was his business.
Yeah.
Yeah, ARP, Alan R. Pearlman. So I'm also the executive director of the Alan R. Pearlman Foundation. I run an organization that is honoring his legacy. Mm-hmm. Yes.
And you are, of course, very personally connected to ARP, to ARP. Do you remember the moment you realized that those synthesizers mean a lot to other people?
Yes. Oh, yes. It was, I think, when I started understanding that famous musicians were using the instruments that my dad made. Mm-hmm. You know, it became very big, very, I guess surreal is not a word you would use when you're 7 years old, but I did understand the enormity of it. And people would say, "Oh, you must be rich and famous." I said, "No, I don't think so." But people that are rich and famous use his synthesizers.
Yeah. Feels a bit of strange as a child. Then I think, or
it was an unusual childhood. Yeah. I traveled a lot. I also would go after school when I was very young into the factory, and I would play with all the parts and the colorful things, and all the people that worked there looked like rock stars to me because I was so young. Yeah.
When you think of Alan R. Pearlman today as a father, a developer, an entrepreneur, which of his qualities do you think is the most strongly reflected in ARP instruments?
My father wanted everyone to be able to make music. And it was very important for him to have a system that was easy for musicians to navigate. So the left to right front panel, subtractive synthesis, almost mapped out with the block diagrams, I think is very inviting, visually, sonically, and he was very, very adamant that education should be a big part of what he did. Yeah.
Perfect. Very good. The ARP 2600 remains, I think, one of the best known synthesizers, maybe worldwide. From your perspective, what makes it so popular?
It is almost like a studio, a portable studio. You have built-in patch points. You have patch points that you can override. So for people that have more longer advanced knowledge, they can really go the distance. They can do so much with it. You don't need to have an amp because it has built-in speakers. So if you're not performing, you can sit quietly and have an experience that it can be, very special that way. So I think that the way they were built in order to accommodate a beginner or accommodate an advanced user is one of the most important parts of that. Yeah. So
it's an instrument for so many people, for beginners, for advanced and everything.
Exactly. Yeah. It's an instrument for the people. It's
that's good. Yeah. Great sentence. The ARP synthesizers have been used in so many ranges. This whole musical fields, from pop and film and experimental productions. Is there an artist or an album, a recording that is especially meaningful for you personally?
For me personally, oh my, there's so many. It's really hard to know. I think what was most interesting to me was that many years later I found out music that I enjoyed and did not know were made with ARP synthesizers. And then I find out later that they were made with ARPs was something that it still moves me so much today. But there's so many artists that I could not limit it to one. I will say that and this is not really a plug, but we created a compilation this past year to commemorate my father's 100th year. He would have been 100. And this is exemplary of all the varieties of music you can have. So we have pop, we have electronica, we have rock and roll, we have R&B, we have, ambient. So there is no genre that cannot be reflected using it, I believe. And I feel the same way because my tastes are eclectic.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sorry if I don't know Yeah.
Okay. Many classical synthesizers are today being reinterpreted maybe as a software synthesizers, including the ARP-Synthesizers. In your opinion, what should a modern instrument offer in order to do justice to the ARP-Synthesizers?
Well, I think that both Korg and Antonis have captured that element of preserving the past with advancing it into the future. So offering MIDI capability, I think was extremely important. Extrapolating on design and making it that much more accessible for modern musicians that have no experience with just analog. So they have the best of both worlds. Yeah.
And I have one last question.
Sure.
When young musicians see today an ARP synthesizer, maybe an ARP Odyssey, for the first time, what would you like to tell them about these instruments?
I believe that if it wasn't for something like the ARP Odyssey, Mini Moog, etc., that all of this wouldn't be here. That these wonderful instruments really were the foundation of modern music. Yeah.
Yeah. Nice. Do you have anything else to say as our readers about your father or the foundation? You mentioned it already.
Yes, I think one of the things I don't talk about so much, my father had limited opportunities. He grew up without a father, very modest means, a lot of things to overcome, but he was able to make his dreams come true in inventing the synthesizer. And I would love to have young people know that if they really truly want to do something, there's nothing they can't do. And to use this information, this history, as an inspiration for their own future. Yeah.
Very nice last words of an interview. So thank you very much for your time and for giving us a view in your life with ARP synthesizers from child on. Thank you very much.
Thank you.